Jai Hind. Hello cadets. So in continuation with the discussion about refraction of light, let's continue investigating the idea of deviation and let us see deviation in different cases. Now there is a common misconception among students that deviation occurs only during refraction. Well, that is not the case. Deviation also occurs while the light is getting reflected. So let's see in this example of a ray of light getting reflected from a plane mirror. So basic terminologies we are all aware of: incident ray, reflected ray, the normal, angle of incidence and angle of reflection. First important thing, the angle of incidence and angle of reflection both are equal. This we have seen in laws of reflection. Now, the incident ray, this is the original direction of incident ray. You can get it easily if you produce it in forward direction like this. So the incident ray was actually traveling along this direction, but as a result of reflection from the plane mirror, it ended up going in this direction. So from this original direction, it was deviated through this much angle. It was deviated through this much angle, meaning for this case of reflection of light, now this angle would be the angle of deviation. So once again, we underline the concept of angle of deviation as the angle through which a ray of light is deviated from its original direction. Now, in this case, let us now try and write down the formula for this angle of deviation. First, this entire angle, this whole angle here is 180. Now, out of this 180 degree angle, if you consider this angle, it would be 2i, or it would also be equal to 2r. Why? Actually, that angle would be I plus r, but because I and r both are equal, we can write that angle as 2i or also as 2r. So, out of this whole 180 degree angle, this entire angle is 2i or 2r, and therefore the deviation produced in this case will be 180 minus 2i, or it can also be written as 180 minus 2r. Now, if you consider the case of reflection from a spherical mirror, like convex mirror or concave mirror, you can apply the exactly same formula, because exactly the same law is followed in case of reflection from a spherical mirror. So let it be a convex mirror or a concave mirror, the angle of deviation in a particular arrangement of reflection, in a particular case of reflection, even there will be 180 minus 2i, or it is also 180 minus 2r. Okay? Now, consider the refraction that occurs through a rectangular glass slab A, B, C, D. Now, first, an incident ray is touching the surface AB. So, it is incident on surface AB. I is the angle of incidence. So, at this point, say point P, this ray of light is traveling from a rarer medium to denser medium, and we know whenever a ray of light travels from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. So this here is a refracted ray. This angle is angle of refraction during the first refraction at point P. Now, this ray, say ray PQ, for first refraction, ray PQ is the refracted ray. Now, again this ray of light is incident at point Q. Again it is undergoing change of medium. Now it is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. Now, as a ray of light travels from denser medium to rarer medium, it moves away from the normal, and therefore it will emerge along this path. So, typically when you consider both the refractions together, this is incident ray, refracted ray and emergent ray. Okay? So, because there are two refractions taking place here, obviously there are going to be two angles of deviation for the glass slab. Now, let us see where does the first angle of deviation lie. So, first refraction is occurring at point P. where a ray of light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, so it bends towards the normal. So this dotted line indicates the original direction of the incident ray, and this ray of light undergo the change in direction through this much angle as it goes from rarer medium to denser medium. So this here is the angle of deviation for the first refraction. Now, if you remember, for rarer medium to denser medium, we have seen the angle of deviation is equal to I minus R. So, in the previous video, we have discussed that for a ray of light going from rarer medium to denser medium, angle of incidence is always greater than angle of refraction, and in that case, angle of deviation is given by I minus R. Now, let's look at the second refraction occurring at point Q. So, at point Q, the ray of light is now traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. So, it had moved away from the normal. So, this is the original direction of the ray PQ, and from this direction, it has been deviated through this much angle. So, for second refraction, this is angle of deviation. Further, for denser to rarer, we know that angle of deviation here would be given by E minus R. Okay. Now, what happens in case of the rectangular glass slab is, first, because the surfaces AB and CD, they are parallel, therefore, this normal N1 and this normal N2, they are also parallel, and those two normals have this PQ as the common intersector. Therefore, these two angles are always equal, and therefore I and E are also always equal. But please remember, this applies only to a rectangular glass slab. Okay, this applies only for rectangular glass slab. For any angle of incidence, I is always equal to E, and these two angles are also always equal, and the fundamental reason behind that is that the refracting surfaces AB and CD both are parallel, because this is a rectangular glass slab. Now, moving ahead, so that also means that these two angles, delta 1 and delta 2, they are also going to be equal, because R is already there. As I and E both are equal, these two angles will also be equal. But there is a very important point about delta 1 and delta 2 that we have to consider here. Okay. Now, in this case, if you look at the diagram carefully, delta 1, so during first refraction, the ray of light turned through angle delta 1, but it turned in clockwise direction. It turned in clockwise direction. Whereas during the second refraction, deviation is delta 2, but it turned in anti-clockwise direction, like this. Okay? What it means is that these two angles of deviation are equal, but during first refraction, the ray of light turned clockwise through some angle. During second refraction, the ray of light turned anti-clockwise through the same angle, which means that the net deviation produced by the glass slab is equal to 0. Or we can also say it like this, that whatever deviation that was produced during first refraction, it was cancelled by the second refraction. So, the net deviation produced by a glass slab is a rectangular glass slab is equal to 0, because the two surfaces AB and CD are parallel to each other. So, the ray of light only gets laterally displaced. So, instead of going on like this along this path without suffering any change in direction, it just gets laterally displaced through some distance, continues to travel along the same path. So, for a rectangular glass slab, the net deviation produces 0. Now, consider the refraction produced by a triangular prism. Okay? Let us suppose that this is the incident ray, which is incident, say, at point Q. Now, at point Q, this ray of light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, so it will bend towards the normal. So this is the normal N1, and while bending towards the normal, it will actually bend in clockwise direction like this. So during first refraction, the ray of light is bending in clockwise direction like this. So, which means that, see, this is the original direction of the ray of light, and this is the direction in which the refracted ray was going. So, this much is the angle of deviation during the first refraction. Now, from previous video again, if you remember, angle of deviation for a ray of light going from rarer medium to denser medium is equal to I minus R. In this case, it would be I minus R1. Okay. Now, look at the second refraction. Now, the second refraction is occurring at this point, say it is point R. Now, at this point, this ray of light, say QR, is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, so it will move away from the normal. So, as a result of this, now observe, this ray going in this direction turned in this direction as it moved away from the normal. So, here it again turned in clockwise direction. Therefore, this is the angle of deviation for the second refraction. Now, for denser to rarer, we know angle of deviation is given by the equation E minus R. In this case, it will be E minus R2. So, for first as well as second refraction, we got the angle of deviations delta 1 and delta 2. First important characteristic of this refraction through prism is both the deviations delta 1 and delta 2, they are produced in clockwise directions. Therefore, the net deviation is in clockwise direction. So, this is the original direction of incident ray, this is the final direction of the emergent ray. So, in this case, if you really want to show the total angle of deviation, it is equal to this much, and further we can write it as delta 1 plus delta 2. So, why are we adding delta 1 and delta 2? It is because in both the refractions, the ray of light got deviated in the same direction, that is clockwise. That is why to find the net deviation, we have to add them. So, in this case, the net deviation will be I minus R1 plus E minus R2. So, this is the reason why a triangular prism produces a considerably large amount of deviation. Why? Because both the refracting surfaces, say surface AB and surface AC, both of these surfaces are producing deviation in the same direction. That is why for net deviation, these two individual deviations, they get added, and therefore a triangular prism gives us a considerably large deviation. So, I hope after these examples, the concept of deviation is clear to you. Okay? That is all from deviation. Thank you.